Oh, hi, you caught me working in Bridge, which is what I use to access, Adobe Camera Raw. I've just been working in here on my portfolio. These are my photos, and I'm just trying to figure out how could I improve them? Where could I enhance specific areas of my photos to make them have more pop and pizzazz, to give them more impact to my viewer? And by the way, how in the world do you define pop, pizzazz, and impact for a viewer? There are certain things that humans' eyes are drawn to, and you want to become the master of those things. Gosh, I wish there was a good list. Listen, I'm the handout guy, and I probably have a handout for what people look at first. I call that eye magnets. There are certain things people look at, certain things they want to look at. But you really don't need my eye magnets handouts. You really don't. You really don't. What did you look at first in that photo? And then I'm going to ask, why? Why did you look at that first, whatever that was for you? Why did you look at that first? We have to get very good at looking at images and telling ourselves, why did we look at that first? There's usually a secret. There's something. Now, you're photographers, so you already know a couple of secrets. Command R, I'm in Camera Raw. Why would you set, a smaller f stop? Why would you want to set a small f number, an aperture? Why would you play with your aperture? Well, yeah, to let more or less light come in, but you and I know a trick, don't we? We do it to blur the background. Why? Because that emphasizes my subject. Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew that. I knew you knew that. We already know a trick. Humans' eyes are attracted to focus, to sharpness. There's more pop, pow, and pizzazz, impact on areas that are sharp. So I might want to enhance the sharpness of a particular area. I said you don't need my list because look, the list is already over here in Adobe Camera Raw. There's a list of things I could do. I could enhance, the exposure. Of course I could. Humans' eyes are drawn to bright spots. So I could brighten up my subject compared to the not subject. Maybe there's a word for that. Oh, maybe the background. Contrast. You know that. You teach me that. Hey, can we add a little contrast there? Why? Because humans' eyes are drawn to better areas of contrast, areas of better contrast. I might enhance highlights. Where would I do? In the eyes, there are highlights, but sometimes I want just the highlights in the eyes to pop, not the whole eye. Popping eyes, that's gross. Hey, shadows, whites, texture, emphasize my texture, clarity, and on and on and on. Saturation, more color is more saturation. Oh, I see way too much of that from today's photographers, don't you? But if you take saturation all the way down, you and I have a word for that. We call it grayscale. Well, maybe I might select my background just to dial that color back. Humans are drawn to areas of better saturation, of higher saturation. But you don't want to saturate your whole image. You want to saturate what you want them to look at first. More on that. Please ask questions about that if you want to. But we're talking about artificial intelligence selecting so that I may enhance a particular area. Grab your pencil. You know I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to show you the very first keyboard shortcut you'll want to memorize for this week. Would you like to make a mask? I mean, would you like to make a mask? You would like to make a mask. The letter's M. Hit the letter M. And when you tap the letter M, ta-da, you're in the mask panel of Adobe Camera Raw. This is what it looks like. It doesn't always look like this. but it always looks like this at the beginning of editing. If you've not created a mask yet, and I haven't, it looks like this. What do I mean this? Well, this over here in red. It looks like this. Particularly for this bonus video, let me draw your attention to those top 3 buttons, right? Subject, sky, and background. Those 3, and only those 3, are the artificial intelligent mask selectors. Subject, sky, background. The computer does all the work. You and I just sit here looking pretty. That's how it goes. You look prettier than I do when you're sitting looking pretty. Subject, sky, and background. Remember those 3 words. How did we get here? The letter M. If you hit it again, you're out. You're back out. You're not in the masking panel. So M, make me a mask. Make me a mask. The mask panel. It's a toggle. It goes back and forth, back and forth. M. You want to know that. You want to remember that shortcut. So I said I went into the mask panel, but I said I came back out. Where is out? What is this? What is this? When you first open a new image, an unedited image, it always takes you to this panel. In fact, if you've edited a photo already, it takes you to this panel. This is so basic. This panel is the basic panel. I'm going to twist the little twisty arrow and the curve and the detail to let you see that the first panel is the basic panel. It's where Adobe takes you to begin with. It's where you might enhance. You're going to see these sliders for enhancing, exposure, contrast, and so on. But on the basic panel, all the sliders deal with the entire photo. These sliders work globally. But the mask, M, these work locally, not global. They work locally, here or there. And that's why we're selecting areas, isn't it? So that we can enhance specific selected areas, here or there, not globally, here or there. So the mask panel is for local enhancing of particular areas. I'm sounding redundant. That's what local is. It's local tools for enhancing specific areas of your image. You enhance the way you choose so that your viewer goes straight to what you want them to go straight to first. There are tricks. We're going to start working. Let's play. No keyboard shortcut. You're grateful, some of you, for grabbing the word subject. I wish there were a keyboard shortcut, but there's not. I have to come into the mask panel, and I did with M, and then I actually have to grab my mouse, and I have to click the artificial intelligent subject select button. Click it, and I'm always excited, sometimes slightly confused at what it does. So I did it. Do you see what I mean? I am both excited. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea what it was going to do here. You don't either. When you look at your photos, you open your photos, you start to edit, this kind of thing can happen. Happens to me all the time. I don't know what to do about it, but there you go. It selected my subject. Now, in another video, I'll show you, in another bonus, I'll show you how to modify this, how to add and subtract and intersect with your masks. But right now, I'm introducing you to those buttons. Sometimes they're perfect. Sometimes they're close. Why is it green? Well, because the mask that it just created, Mask 1, kind of a silly name, has an overlay showing of greenness. Now, I showed you that in an earlier video. I'm going to click that little dot and set it to the way your default is set, the way it comes out of the box, let's say. It's set to white. That's fine for me. If you like white overlay, that's awesome. That works. That's good. I think I told you, I try to choose a color that I know is not in my photo. And so I'll variably click that overlay color button and choose something I know is not in this. Now, there was green in the background, so I'm going to pick hot pink. I know there's no hot pink. But wait, there was red. There's red, so maybe I'll pick something that's neither green nor pink or reddish. There's no blue. I know that. Okay? I'm just choosing a color, and I choose based on the image here or there. Otherwise, I leave it set to hot green. That's what I do, neon green. Why is it showing blue? Did it make my rooster blue? No. It's just the overlay. It's trying to reveal to me visually that this is the area you currently have selected. It's the mask. And earlier I showed you that the mask isn't always black on white or isn't always dancing ants around the edge. It may look like this. It may be a color. In Adobe Camera Raw, the solid overlay represents the masked area. That's your mask inside the color. If you don't want to see the overlay, I've got 3 options for you. 3. You don't want to see it. You sure don't want to see it while you're trying to edit that area. So way 1 is just start editing. If I want to play with the exposure of the rooster, I'm going to go head over now to the exposure slider. And as soon as I click it, the overlay disappears temporarily so that it doesn't interfere with my view. And then I let go, and it's back. So step 1, if you don't want to see the overlay, is just start getting to work. Just start editing. Now, some of you are very good at color. You may have even gone to college for color. You may know something about color, scientifically, theoretically. But we know this. Color, the more you look at it, can begin to trick the brain. Color in context feels different. So I don't like ever seeing that solid color because it throws my eye-brain combination off. My eye gets used to that and it changes my feeling about the rest of those colors and how they interact. So the second way you might hide the overlay is my favorite way, and that is uncheck it. Uncheck it. Here's the good news. It's still selected. It's like hiding the dancing ants in Photoshop. It's still selected. Look, if I were to make a big change, I'll green it up. Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, it still happens. It's still selected. I just never see the color. I never see it. Another option. Instead of checking or unchecking the show overlay box, I'll check it. But instead of doing that, you'll notice that when I hovered over it, it said, we've got a shortcut for you, Rick, to toggle the visibility of the mask overlay. Plain old Y. Why? Don't ask me. It's Y for overlay. Maybe it's the last letter in overlay. And so I can tap Y whenever I don't want to see it, and Y when I do want to see it. Don't ask me why, but it's Y. I often like to see it when it generates it so that I can see if there are any glitches or anomalies. And then I hit Y and I turn it off. It's up to you. Why? Oh yeah, missed something. Okay, that's all. Okay, now you may have noticed that since I started working, since I built a mask, my artificial intelligence buttons have disappeared. They are very shy. They've disappeared. Now that's what happens as soon as you add one mask. Let me show you how to wipe out all your masks. Wait, what? Yeah, so you want to do this cautiously, if ever. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to wipe out all of the masks that I made. One. And I do it by hitting this back arrow. It says, oh, reset the masks. That means get rid of all the masks. Don't fall for that simple little, oh, shall I reset them for you? No, it's going to delete them all. And if you don't have any masks, that's the only time you'll see the buttons. If you don't have any masks. And when you first open an image, you don't, and so you see them. But as soon as you add one, now let's add the background. Let's try that one. Background. As soon as you add one, you don't see them anymore. Does that mean you can't access them anymore? No. It means they're shy. Once you have a mask, they assume you know what to do with them. And if you want more, watch me. If you've already got at least one mask, watch me. Then you click on that little white plus sign in that field of always blue. It's always blue. Has nothing to do with my overlay. But that little button right there, if you click it, you'll see your 3 artificial intelligence buttons again. That's how you get back if you've already got one mask. Don't panic. That's standard behavior. Not panicking, that is. I mean, these buttons behavior. All right, so subject, sky, and background. If you already have one, you'll have to click that button. Let's go change my overlay. It missed, right? That's more than my background. So I gotta modify this in some way. We'll come back. I'm gonna hit cancel at the bottom. Let's go to another image. Command R, edit in Camera Raw. I found that under the file menu, open in RAW. I'm gonna hit M. Why don't I see the buttons? Well, obviously, I have a few masks. In the history of this file, the masks were automatically saved. You don't have to save them anymore. It auto-saves. When you make a mask, it saves them. I'm going to create a new mask. That's why I didn't see it. I already have masks. I'd like to select the sky, please. Did it do it? Oh, did it ever? Whew, even in these little nooks and crannies, that's crazy. Now in Adobe Camera Raw, I cannot replace the sky. That's a Photoshop job because that's compositing. This image with another sky, that's compositing. One of the 5 compelling reasons to be in Photoshop. Now I don't want to see the overlay, but I still want it selected. I hit Y. It's still selected. What might I do to my sky? Well, you know, look at your sliders. You might play with the exposure. You might play with the contrast or the color, and on it goes. But you got to get that selection. It automatically saved my sky, and look at the gorgeous name that it chose. Mask 9. Just double click that. You don't have to save them, but you may want to name them. Sky. I type sky and hit enter or return on my keyboard. It automatically saves them, but it doesn't automatically know what you want to name them. So I make it a habit of, thanks for saving it. What's that? Thanks for saving it, but I want to name it. Oh, I accidentally, now my overlays are hidden, right? But I accidentally put my cursor over, without clicking, another mask. And that's another way to see what that mask is. Just hover, 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 hover. It makes sense, however, doesn't it, to name them. I named that one Piers. The Piers. It auto-saves. Your job is just to name if you want. Okay, let's say cancel. Let's get out of this. Now, I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm doing what you do. We edit photos. We're just going to start editing our photos. Hey, where's my mask panel? M. You learned that shortcut already. I hate shortcuts, Rick. Can you show me the long cut? All right. Look over on the side. Oh, do you see a cropping tool? What do you think that means? We're in the real Adobe Camera Raw. We are not in the fake Camera Raw filter in Photoshop. But as I keep looking there, I see a dotted. Oh, look, it's the dancing ants tool. Well, sort of. It's the masking panel. And the shortcut is M. That's the long cut. If you want to go over there and click that button, you can. It works. That's the long cut. The letter M toggles back and forth for the mask panel. You already know the mystery. Why am I not seeing the artificial intelligence buttons? Because I already have masks in here. So let's add and select our sky. Okay, I'm blown away. I really am blown away. Now I want you to notice it selected a little more than the sky. Really. It selected the side of this building. It looks like with green, I'm seeing it select a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Wow, it got into these little nooks and crannies here. I love that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Trust it. Most of the time. Try it. Just see if it's working for you when you go to make edits. Because it actually makes sense that it would select the areas on images that are reflecting the sky as well for context. Oh, so if I brighten the sky with exposure, it makes sense that it would brighten those reflective areas as well to match on the building, on the amphitheater. It would make sense. See the building in the background there, right in the middle. When the sky gets brighter, the reflection on the buildings. So that's kind of a fascinating piece of artificial intelligence that I care for. I like it. I like it. So don't panic. You won't have to modify that as much as you might think you do. If you see some little spillage areas, they're smart. It's being smart. Cancel. Try another. M, masks, create a new mask. I've done subject, I've done sky. Let's do background. And let's see what we get. It's remarkable. Oh, wow, even the hair. That's crazy. All right, it has my background. What might I want to do to a background? Well, I might blur a background. I might darken a background. Whatever I can do to make my viewers see what I want them to see first. Sure, they'll make discoveries as they continue to look around the photo. But what's important? You got to decide. For me, the thing on the right is really important, so I'm going to hang on to the thing on the right. But I could darken the background, and it tends to emphasize the subjects, doesn't it? Now I'm going to hit the letter P on my keyboard, another keyboard. P for preview. P for preview. P for preview my changes. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It gives them the illusion that they're brighter, but only in comparison. You see, I didn't brighten them. They're perfect. Trust me. I darkened everything but them. Background. Great selection. Hey, while we're at it, I'm just curious. If I said select my subject, notice how it says subject, singular. But very often, not always, but very often, that's a plural. It knows that subjects might be selectable. I've got more than one subject. It sorts that out for me. Great hair, by the way. Incredible, right? Now, might I want to modify this selection? Yes. Maybe I just want to select the girl on the left, whom I grew up with, my baby sister. Maybe I want to select her. Or maybe, but see right now, select subject, select subjects. It selected both of those. I'll show you later how to modify. Okay? We'll cancel. I don't know what else to tell you. Those are the artificial intelligence buttons. They're awfully good. Are they perfect? Rarely. Can I modify them? Yes. We'll see in an upcoming bonus video. They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. And no BPSOP course would be complete, would it? Without picking on a photo of the great Brian F. Peterson. Let's try it. M. Create a mask out of the subject, and let's see. Okay, pretty darn good. It got most of that amazing hair, but not every tiny chunk. Probably enough. I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust it. I keep telling you, right? Let's trust it. Let's go with it. Instead of freaking out that it didn't get all the hair, let's trust it. And you'll find that it's fine. It's going to work fine because those other hairs, in order to sell the effect with the background, might need to be somewhat translucent, not selected, whatever it is. Fantastic. Hand over your heart. All right, that's bonus video, what is it, 1 for week 3, the artificial intelligence tools, buttons. The artificial intelligence buttons, that's what they are. Next, I'll show you the not artificial, I'll show you the user interface tools. It requires your user's intelligence. So the artificial intelligence, the AI, versus the UI, your intelligence. I'll show you those tools next.